Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt and I'm back with Kerbal Space Program Hard Career Mode. This episode we are just gonna dive right in and go get Janbie. Oh, and go switch to Janbie. There we are. Because she's just about to enter the atmosphere on her way back from the moon. Now, what I'm going to do is turn on SAS, have it point retrograde, and wait until we hit our periapsis at 39 kilometers, and then I'm going to do a full burn. Or actually I think I'm going to do it at around 40 kilometers already, but yeah, I'm going to do a full burn up all the fuel that's left and see where we end up apoapsis wise. Right now we're still accelerating, which is nice enough, I guess. Okay, now we're starting to slow down. But I'm still waiting a bit. Yeah, I'm also keeping an eye on our electric charge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Burn. There we are. That's it. That's it for our SAS as well. For our electric charge. And we're just gonna see where this takes us. We're still at 1.4 thousand kilometers. And I think we are gonna need another orbit to get to where we want to go. To get back to the planet, which is sad because I actually hoped we could launch the next mission on this Kerbal day, but I think in an hour when we're back at our periapsis, and then when we've landed, I think it's going to be nighttime at the Space Center. Oh well. Things happen. And the debris is also gonna stay in space for another while, or for a while. I have to admit, this isn't the first time I did this, or I do this video, or I attempt this video. When I tried it before, there was a little accident in the second part of the game. So I got Janbie back in one piece, and then I made a rocket that was supposed to be able to get to the moon. I'm not sure if it is, I have to admit, because something went wrong during staging, during takeoff. There was this and that. I was looking at a Kerbal dev. I tried to save her, and stuff happened that made it necessary to restore the backup and try again. For more details, just watch Wednesday's video, because that's when I'm going to upload it. It's going to cut in, yeah, right before the launch, I think. I haven't made the video yet. I've just come out of recording it and thought, well, if I want to upload a video today, it better be, or I better get to recording it. We're back in atmosphere, because otherwise it's gonna be 8 and I still don't have a video, so yeah. But that was definitely a new experience for me. So I also did most of the talking already, but of course, since it's not in the the thingy that's blinking there must be Minmus. Since that part is going to get cut out of the video, I'll have to do it all again. First thing, as you might notice, there is only one more science target left, and that's untasked left, the temperature reading. There was another one up here in that area, yeah, right here, for a crew report, and I did that. I didn't do it with the Orbital Genius, however, because somewhere during my science flight in this area, near the Space Center, I realized that the crew report up here was actually supposed to be below 17,800 meters. That means the Orbital Genius is simply too high. So I ended up doing a flight, picking up, how did it go? I started at the Space Center, got the science or the crew report here, did the landing here, did the EVA reports there, flew about here-ish, no here-ish I think, yes here, to do another crew report, and then flew up here and did that crew report as well. It was an interesting flight. I almost ran out of fuel, or well, I might have gotten up to here maybe with the fuel I still had left, but yeah, well, I was low on fuel at least. Definitely not going back home. And yeah, so we got that, and that happened in the last try as well. We are currently, though you can't see it, I have no idea why that tends to happen. We are currently at 564,000, I think, funds, and 114, I think, science. Which means we have enough funds to upgrade the VIB and get the next size of fuel tank for making our moon rocket, or the rocket that's actually supposed to get a lander to the moon. The Debi class lander that we built last episode. Speaking of Debi, oh, okay, it's increasing, that's good. I was worried we'd actually end up hitting Debi's Hulk, but apparently we won't, which is very good. Yeah. Speaking of Debi, I checked the save files off camera as well, and Debi has been part of 4 missions in this career mode game. The first one was, of course, getting her out of orbit, rescuing her from Debi's Hulk together with Tria, whose capsule is here as well. Why are those just 5? I rescued 6 Kerbals. I'm very sure I rescued 6. We got Debi, we got Janbie, we got Datre, we got Melane, and we got Tria. Huh. That's odd. Ah, no, of course. We got Legi's shipwreck out here. That's 6. Yeah, anyway, as I said, Debi was on 4 missions. Mission 1 was her getting rescued from space, from where Stratco had stranded her. Missions 2 and 3 were simple orbital flights, so I think those were tourist contracts, because after having rescued Debi and Tria, that was the only reason I went to orbit. And number 4 was last episode's mission. So she never made it past orbit. Actually, nearly all missions she did were in orbit. So, and she's not going to make it past orbit herself anymore, on account of, you know, having died last episode. However, with the lander being called with the landers now being the Debi series, at least until I have a different idea, her feet will actually be the first on the moon and Minmus, as in the feet of the lander, but as they're named after her. It's kind of a symbolic thing. I like the symbolism, actually. Don't know if you do. But yeah. It's just something that came to my mind last, or off camera. Okay, we're not gonna hit Janbie's trap either, which is also good. Yeah, another hour or 2 or 5 in orbit probably won't worry Janbie much, because yeah, she's been on a 10-day mission into moon orbit, so 1 hour isn't gonna make much of a difference. At least not yet, not as long as Squad doesn't implement what are those things called? Oxygen and stuff like that. You know, that they need breathable air in their capsules, and food and stuff like that. You know, all stuff that is actually a concern for real-life astronauts, but Kerbals, I don't know, they must have quantum snacks or something. Maybe Lambus bread. Yeah, physics warp. Another book reference. Yeah, when I'm not doing music references, I'm doing book references half the time. So hope that doesn't annoy you folks too much. Yeah. So all that we have left in regarding contracts are currently the one we are doing right now, returning to Kerbin from orbit of the moon. Then science data from space around Kerbin. I'm going to cover that together with the Antas Cleft thing. Okay, we are at... No wait, our apoapsis is still at 100 clicks. Okay, it's going to be a night landing. I think. Yeah, periapsis is falling. It's still a bit steep, I think. Oh well. It's just a single capsule, that shouldn't be a problem. The problem comes when you combine 3 capsules, because that will actually not get slowed down very well by the atmosphere. Ooh. And then it gets safe to deploy the parachute very late. The thing is, in the last attempt of the video, it was safe to deploy the parachute at, I think, 5 or 6 kilometers. When I had the 3 capsule set up, it was sometimes, or I sometimes came down to about 1 kilometer before it got safe to deploy, which is actually cutting it a bit close, in my opinion, but you take what you can get. And I think this time we should end up at don't know, 3 kilometers or so. That's normal safe altitude for an orbital return. That upsets me most about the about the failed last attempt is that I had a pretty workable what's it called? Workable design for the moon rocket. Of course, I don't know if it actually works, but it looked like it might. And now I have to rebuild it from scratch. There were a few things that were annoying during the build, but oh well. I'll take care of them again. So we are approaching the water, which you can't see because the video is too dark. Or the game is too dark. I suppose. But yeah, it's not gonna be long now. Oh, it's already risky. No, okay, we are still above 6 kilometers. Or we still were above 6 kilometers before it got, or when it got safe. So yeah, I don't know if Squad has fiddled with some settings again, or... But again, there was no download, so... don't know. Ah yeah, speaking of download, and again, the thing I was wondering about last time, with the resolution. I think that might have to do with my graphics card downloading its newest drivers and the NVIDIA GeForce Experience thingy stuff maybe deciding what I want to, or how I want to play my games. It says or last time I checked it said it couldn't change the settings, or it couldn't find any optimal settings, but I don't trust that thing. Okay, we already got our next contract complete. They are already repurposing parts of the vessel from the moon for other missions. Yeah, a bit hard to do that because it's still in the water. But okay, 62,000 funds, 5 science, awesome. So let's recover. So yeah, we can turn off the alarm clock. We got 9.6 science from returning the vessel from the orbit of the moon. Another 1,300 funds. Okay, we weren't that far from the KSC. Last time I was halfway around the world, that was a couple hundred. We are now at 628,000, which is awesome. Janbie gained 3 XP, which means she has more XP than Jebediah and Valentina, I think, I'm not sure. Gotta check that. We got a reputation of 367, which is nice. Let's see. Orbit around Kerbin is 2, flyby of the moon is 2. Janbie, yeah, orbit around Kerbin 2, orbit around the moon 3. So, and Valentina also just got a flyby. But our next pilot is going to be Tria, because she was the one who was rescued together with Debi. Now the next thing we do is upgrade the VAB, so we can build rockets with up to 255 parts, and we get basic action groups, which are pretty helpful at some point, or in some cases. Okay, then we get the research for the fuel systems, because that gives us the next fuel tank, and the fuel line, which is something I like. And we want... okay, of course I have to research the parts as well. I'll leave out the Rockomax fuel tanks because they have a much bigger diameter than the ones we currently have. And to put those in our rockets we would probably need the Rockomax decoupler, or at least for decoupling them we would need the Rockomax decoupler. And for combining them with our small fuel tanks we would need the Rockomax adapter. And of course we would also need bigger engines, which would be, for example, the Skipper or the Poodle. And we would need 90 science for that. So not gonna happen, not now. Maybe soon, but not that soon either, probably. I think the next thing I want to get is... I never can decide, either electrics or general construction. Electrics because it has the first probe core and solar panels and a nice battery. And construction because it has the struts, which are going to come in handy very soon, or which would come in handy very soon if we could get them, you know. And the launch stability enhancer, which is also nice. Which I have been whining about a couple episodes back. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is see about contracts. First off, planting a flag on the moon, we can do that. Whoa, they got a bunch of Kerbins in orbit. Kerbals in orbit again. Land on the moon! Yes! We have enough data on the moon to attempt a landing, or we could stage one. It's up to you. We're gonna attempt one with a lot of staging. Okay, that was horrible. I apologize. I don't know what came over me. Next thing, science data from surface of the moon. Yeah, I think we can do that when we want to land. Anyways, maybe we can bring them back some rocks or something. Actually, yeah, send us. Oh, we can bring it. And we can plant a flag. Can we also just spray a tree that was here on the ground or something? Deadline 10 years. We got 10 years to plant a flag on the moon. Yeah, I think we can barely do that. This will expire in 4 years. I think until then we might get the thingy. The temperature reading. Okay. Now we grab the Debi one and modify it. Because we can. So we're going to put in a bigger fuel tank as the main stage. We are going to put those here. Yeah, that works. We are going to put the legs back on. That works. And we're going to put the batteries back on. That also works. So, okay, what I'm going to add as well is that fuel duct. And that means we can... staging is messed up all to hell. That means we can, when we fire the engines, they all fire at the same time. However, first they drain the outer fuel tanks, even the center engine, thanks to the fuel duct. And when the outer fuel tanks are empty, we drop them, and the center engine still has a whole fuel tank for itself. This one gets saved. That's the Debi one now. Oh, and the new VAB looks pretty nice as well. I already admired it in the previous attempt, but yeah, that one went down the drain so far that even the drain was gone. And you're gonna understand that one when you see the next video. Now it's time to just stick some stuff together, see what works. I keep forgetting the decoupler. Okay, no, not this one, this one. And another one of those. And another one down, another one go. Another one bites dust. No, I think I'm going to go on with the radial decouplers. I'm going to put those on in pairs. The reason for which will become evident soon. Let's get this figured out. Yeah, that's not exactly the same. Right. No, actually that was stupid. It's just as stupid. Okay. Aerodynamics, we need nose cones, and we need... no, we don't need batteries, we don't need parachutes. What was I looking for? Ah, engines. And we put in the old Reliance. Okay. Now we grab that. Alt click. And we put another pair of those on. Now you might wonder why I didn't just set this to quad symmetry. The reason for that is that first I'm going to add a couple tail fins, because that should help with the whole stability thing. Pitch your roll, whatever. And it reminds me that yeah, I did. What I'm going to do is grab the fuel lines and set them up so that we can use something called asparagus staging. And that means, once I've set up the staging, first off, all engines here on the bottom are gonna fire at the same time at launch. First they are going to drain this fuel tank and this one. No, this one. This and this. When those are empty, they get dropped. That's them. They get dropped, and the rest, the other three, or the remaining three engines, use this fuel tank and this fuel tank until they are empty and get dropped, and then this engine has all those two fuel tanks for itself. When that gets empty, we go up with the other staging mode, onion staging I think it's called. And hopefully that will get us, this part will get us to orbit, and this one to the moon. And then this part can get us landed and back up. At least that's the theory. And that whole thing is going to be called, the lander is the Debi 1 still, and the rocket itself is the Savage Garden. What? Oh, come on. I hate it when that happens. It's the Savage Garden. Because we didn't have a music reference in a long time. Because hopefully it will take us to the moon and back. So, time to save this thing. Check the staging. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's pretty good. Didn't get messed up anymore. Just have to check. Yeah, that's alright, that's correct. So we... No! I remembered that last time. We set an action group for abort. And that is... No, not toggle. That is going to shut down all our engines. And when I say all our engines, I mean all our engines. At least those that can still be reached. And it's going to decouple this stack decoupler. That means, if anything goes wrong, I can hit abort. I think it's backspace. And all engines turn off, and the capsule gets decoupled, comes back down. We're gonna lose the rocket that way, but we should keep our Kerbal. And I have to be honest, I did that in the first attempt. Now we're gonna warp to the next morning, 2 hours away. Less than 1 hour away, and there we go. I like the new space, the new VAB. Yeah, and one of the next things we have to upgrade is the R&D center, but ooh, that's just under 1 million. Ooh, that's okay. Oh, we can't. We can't bring back moon rocks because our EVAs can't collect surface samples yet. Nice, and resource transfer. Oh, that's like transferring fuel from one tank to another. You need more R&D for that. Okay. Damn. 12 active Kerbals. What's that gonna do? Unlimited. Can't place flags. Yeah, okay. As long as we don't need more Kerbals, we don't need a bigger astronaut complex. That's... I don't know when we'll need that. Or that. Oh, this will enable us to track unowned objects. And this will give us more contracts. Okay. So, we go to the launch pad. With the... What? Why is this untitled? Something's wrong here. Anyway. We grabbed the Savage Garden, and as said, I wanted Tria to fly it, because she got rescued together with Debi, so Who better to honor her sacrifice? We got a bit of wobbling here, which is why I would prefer the strut connectors. Whoa, what is going on? Oh boy, that's gonna suck. Yeah, right. We gotta be careful right here. Okay, turn on SAS, see how this ends up working. We are just gonna have to see, and launch. Oops, it would help if I throttled up fully. Okay, we definitely got a bit of wobble here. I really would feel better with those thingies. Struts. Yeah, and as you can see, the first two engines are losing fuel quickly. The other ones are also losing fuel because they are counting the tanks from the previous engines as well. Ooh, crumbs! What is going on? I think it's gonna shake itself apart. So sure activating SAS was a good idea, because I get the feeling that SAS was doing the shaking. Shake, rattle and roll. Oh, we're carrying 2 empty fuel tanks. That's not going to help our speed thingy. Thrust to weight ratio. Get this thing into orbit. So we learned that this thing is best flown without SAS, apparently. Good to know. Bad feeling about this, a very, very bad feeling. At least about our chances to get into orbit. Or to the moon. Orbit is doable, but the moon is actually pretty unlikely, if you ask me. Okay, yeah, that works. But we are losing speed. We are still too low in the atmosphere and the engine is good enough and strong enough. Nuts, crackers, fruit, everything. I think I'm gonna have to switch that one out. Okay. We are approaching orbital velocity. But I have no idea if it's gonna be good enough. I don't think so. Keep that thing pointed prograde. And don't shake it apart! Nabbit. Yeah, that's the problem with keeping it pointed prograde. It ends up correcting so often that it actually shakes the craft apart, which is something, or which is not something you want to happen to something that's, you know, supposed to get into space, get anywhere actually, but space is a big contender. The problem was staying on the launch pad too long. I'm still going to try, but I don't think we are going to the moon today. this stage was supposed to take us on a moonbound trajectory, and if it can be done, maybe even get us into an orbit around the moon. And it's now currently, you know, working very hard on getting us into a Kerbin orbit. And I get a feeling it's failing at that. Yeah. Yeah, we're coming down. We're coming down. Whoa! This thing's got a lot of thrust. Well, okay, we got four engines. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this. I think what I'm going to do is we're getting a bit fast here. I'm going to hit abort. Do an abort test. Unsafe to deploy, yeah, I knew that. Hope the air is going to slow us down quickly enough so we can open the parachute. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is play around off camera a bit until we can afford the struts and the other things. Yeah, see, we were on a suborbital flight and we are going down to 3 kilometers before it gets safe. Well, okay, 40 kilometers before it gets safe to deploy the parachute. I was just wondering. Yeah, what I'm going to do off camera is play around a bit, get some more science, so that hopefully by next episode we can afford the... Okay, I'm gonna remove that warning. So hopefully that by next episode we can afford the launch stability enhancer and the struts, and then we're going to strut up the Savage Garden like there's no tomorrow. Hit it up with a couple of stability enhancers. Yay, splashdown. Maybe put a couple other things into it as well. I mean, we're down to 230,000 funds. Do we have anything new? No visual surveys of the moon. Machian's Adventure. Question, could we do that? There is the moon, there's the moon. Yeah, no, we won't do that. Because I want to land in one of the craters, which means pretty near the equator. The only one that's off the equator is this one, far off. I think there was another one down here. Ah, this one. But around here it's actually very hard to land outside of the craters, because those are the midlands or the highlands, and those are pretty high. And in the craters you get to, I think, a couple 100 meters or 100 something meters above sea level on the moon. I mean, there are no seas, but below the altitude that's shown at the top, and the midlands and highlands, they are, I think, up to 1 kilometer above. I could be wrong, but I don't want to find that out on the very first landing. The second or the third maybe, but not the first. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get 6 more science. That's actually the question. Temperature scans of Kerbin is going to get 2 science. Science data from space is another 2. And the actual temperature scan in space is 0.6. Oh, come on. Just need 5.5 science. Wait a minute. No, okay. I was thinking that maybe we can do that right in this video. Keep clicking next to it. But yeah, this one's been running long enough actually. So we're just gonna... Nah, that's 4.8 science. I thought so. Yeah, we can do that. That alone is almost enough for what we need. So yeah, I am going to see if we can get those 6 science, and then next episode we're going to finally unlock general construction to get the strut connector and the stability enhancer. I mean, the stability enhancer isn't even that high a priority for me anymore, but the strut connector, that one is very, very good. Very important. Pretty much space tape is what I call it. Duct tape in space, because it's it's used for everything. Rocket too wobbly, more struts. Or it's used a lot, let's say it like that. I'm not sure if we are going to need radiator panels, but I think we might need them once we start using the photovoltaic panels. But that too we will find out. Actually, I might put some on just to be on the safe side. Pair of large ones? Because I think parts heat up when they are in the sun. Gonna have to read up on that one a bit more. Actually, we made it to the orbit of the moon before and back home without them, so we should be fine this time. So, anyway, as I said, I'll see about getting those 5 science to our next episode. And then we're gonna try again with getting to the surface of the moon. Tria gets to fly again. So until then, thank you everyone, and good night.